Well, here we are, ready for the next phase. What I've done, you can see this little thing here. This is the pattern. The pattern was traced on to the aluminum sheet and the excess was cut off. The next step that I had to do was to bend this by hand, just over and over and over again, to get it to bit down into this little groove here. It's on the edge of the pizza pan. And my intention originally was to get out the aluminum solder and get the soldering on it. Well, when I got out my soldering torch, the one that I used to have, I was able to adjust the flame. This one is one of those jobbers where you push the button and it goes on like a jet engine. Well, needless to say, I didn't have the finesse to keep from melting the object, as opposed to just melting the soldering rod itself. So I would get ready to go to plan B. Now plan B was to take this to a guy who's nearby here, who has a shop. He's an excellent welder. He's got a machine shop and he knows what he's doing. And I was going to have him come in here and then run a bead all the way around this thing and make that the end of it. But in the middle of the night I woke up thinking, why do I need to do that when I can just mix up some resin and fiberglass, lay the mat in around here, and fiberglass will definitely hold it together. So if you can see, I've roughed that up with 80 grit sandpaper on this edge here, and of course the edge around there, and I'll lay the mat in on this and fiberglass it with resin, so it'll be ready to go. I had to make a jig to hold this down, and basically it's just a piece of plywood with some long bolts. I took a washer and bent it over the lip so that it would hold it down, and my goal was to get it as tightly as I could against the lip of the pizza pan, and all in all it's pretty good. Now the fiberglass resin will definitely adhere it here. It'll be good and tight, and around the edge, if I have to, I'll probably end up running a bead of some kind of a caulk, and I'm probably going to go ahead and paint the whole thing anyway. When I made the piece, I had to make the piece so that it was adjustable, because I just knew good and well that when I finally got it to the very nth degree, then I was going to be off here and there. And I was just a little bit. What I've got here is once I get this thing in place with the fiberglass, I'll go ahead and button this up with pop rivets and then smooth it all out, and then we'll be ready to go. Now, this is the part here that goes right up underneath the fiberglass hood. What I'm going to end up having to do one or two things. I ordered some foam rubber that had a female end on this end, and it's kind of soft and squishy on the other end, and it'll slip over the edge of that. Now, if the material isn't too stiff, if the foam isn't too hard, I'll go ahead and use it. Otherwise, I'll have another plan B going here. But once it's all put together, I'm going to go ahead and probably throw a coat of paint on it and make it look pretty. Now, one of the things that I probably could have done, which would have made it a hell of a lot easier for me, would have been, instead of cutting this pattern off so that it fit inside this lip, if I would have just made it a little bit bigger in circumference, it would have slipped over the outside of the edge of this thing. I could have moved the sides up and down to suit, and I could have come around on the inside of this and made a mark with a magic marker or whatever, and it would have been a done deal. I wouldn't have had to worry about the fact that it's 5 3/4 in one location and 4 1/2 in another location. And again, the reason why there's a difference in it is because the hood slopes towards the radio, it slopes down, and the engine itself is actually, the engine's off center. Matter of fact, pretty much all American cars that are rear wheel drive, the engine is offset to the passenger side just to make room for steering gear and all that kind of stuff.